Hey everyone, today I want to talk about guarding your flank on defense, and specifically what this means for intercepting enemy teams trying to get the angles of attack on you that are advantageous for them. They're flanking classes, they're classes that are capable of traversing parts of the map that other particular heroes can't, and getting into unique areas that will allow them to attack you from an angle that's going to force your team to pay attention to multiple areas of entry into a room. Essentially, on a capture point map, or a map where you have to negate the amount of room that you have to cover. So if they are only capable of coming at you from one angle, you can focus more fire on that particular area, that main entrance, that main area that your pusher classes, your tanks, and your healers can really watch that main entrance, and you essentially are trying to funnel their flankers into your main force of fire. If you think about from an attacking team's perspective, when they come upon a hard point defense with Bastion being covered by a healer or a tank, and they need to find a way to break that up, to deconstruct your defense. If you eliminate their options for deconstructing your defense, if you eliminate their alternative paths that they can attack you from, then you have the advantage. Your defensive team has the advantage in those particular situations. In this specific case, a map like Hanamura, the second capture point has at least 6 points of entry into the room, and each of those points of entry can be accessed from multiple areas. It's kind of a nightmare to try to defend from a straight up point of view, but if you have enough people that are willing to cover your left and right flank and funnel everybody through that main entrance, then it really can be an easy defense. Heroes that kind of excel at this, covering your flanks and being able to deal damage in a unique way that counters particular kinds of flankers, are 76 is really excellent at covering that right side, where heroes that need to cover the wide gap to get across to the shortcut, it's the fastest way back from their respawn, and so a lot of heroes are capable of making that jump or making that area across the gap there. And so you'd want to have a hero that can do long range damage, somebody that can see that distance and shoot pretty accurately from range, and discourage them from being able to use their movement abilities to jump across. And on the left hand side, the route to get to the upper overlook over the capture point, many times flankers that rely on speed or rely on being able to get to an area very quickly, like a Tracer or a Genji, it's best to counter and guard those flanks with a hero like McCree or Mei, who excels at killing the speed flankers, the flankers that opt for surprise attacks from behind. Sometimes if your team is running double tank, then maybe one of the tanks can cover the sides. A lot of times a tank standing in a narrow flanking route is enough to discourage a flanker from even attempting to go that way, especially with a Roadhog who's capable of shutting down a Tracer or Mei or even a Pharah in close conditions so quickly that they just won't bother. They'll turn around and they'll go a different route. And what your goal here is to force them into having to go with the rest of their team down the main path, because the bulk of your damage, the bulk of your preparedness is waiting for them on that main path. Some other things to keep in mind, just little side effect strategies to separating yourself from the main group and guarding your flanks, is that you can save your ultimate to be a reserve, to be something that collapses back to the point when they're making their big ultimate push, they're combining and comboing their ultimates. You can run back to the point and catch them off guard. You can pop your own ultimate to counter their ultimates. And it's actually a surprisingly effective strategy, because you're not part of the main force, but you're close enough that if you need to, you can collapse back to the point and help in a dire situation. Ultimately, guarding your flank does two main things. One, it cuts off their options and it forces them to have to use conventional routes to get to the capture point, and also it holds you in reserve. You can get back to that point quickly, use your own ultimate, and turn the tide of battle. As always, guys, I hope you found this useful. Have fun out there trying to hold those last capture points by guarding the flanks, and I'll see you in game.